Chapter 6405. The next day, Charlie and Duncan used the new identities Helena prepared for them and flew directly from Northern Europe to Lisbon, the capital of Portugal. The destination of the two this time was Casablanca, the largest city and the largest port in Morocco. More people know this city because of a classic movie with the same name as this city. This city is also one of the few modern cities in Africa, and it can at least be ranked in the top 10 on the continent. On the plane to Lisbon, Charlie sat in a semi-private compartment in the first-class cabin, covered himself with a blanket. He continued to make the hand seals he learned under the Aurora to continue to improve his spiritual energy. After arriving in Lisbon, Charlie felt that his spiritual energy had increased significantly again. So he secretly decided that after the spiritual energy in his body increased a little more, he would start to transfer spiritual energy to the ring. Since the ring may have a greater use, he might as well fill it with spiritual energy and see what happens. If it were in the past, Charlie might not be willing to try to feed this bottomless pit with spiritual energy. But now he has confidence in his heart. That set of handprints can continuously create more spiritual energy. In this way, he will have a continuous source of spiritual energy. And naturally, he will not feel sorry for this little spiritual energy. After arriving in Lisbon, in order not to leave traces of being traced in the future, Charlie and Duncan disguised themselves and used another set of fake identities to take a small plane of an airline from Lisbon, flew over the Strait of Gibraltar, and arrived in Casablanca. After arriving in Casablanca, the two booked 2 rooms in the best hotel near the port of Casablanca as Portuguese-Chinese businessmen. What surprised the two was that there were more Chinese in Casablanca than they imagined, especially in the hotel where they stayed. Chinese accounted for at least 1/3, and they all looked like successful people and elites. Duncan gave full play to the investigative ability of a criminal policeman. He took the initiative to talk to several Chinese in the hotel lobby for a while, and then found out why there were so many of them here. After understanding the situation, he said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, I understand why there are so many Chinese here. The phosphate mines in Morocco are the key raw materials for the production of lithium iron phosphate batteries. Many power battery companies and new energy vehicle companies in China have invested in building factories here to produce lithium iron phosphate batteries on site. It is said that it is at least 30% cheaper than taking raw materials back to China for production." Charlie couldn't help but smile and said, "I'll ask Uncle later to see if the power battery company they acquired before has invested here before." "Probably not." Duncan said, "I have been following your grandfather and his family to investigate investments in China. The power battery company they invested in mainly produces ternary lithium batteries and does not do much lithium iron phosphate. It seems that lithium iron phosphate has low energy density and is cheap, and is mainly suitable for mid- and low-end models." Charlie nodded slightly and said, "But there are so many Chinese here, and it is relatively easier for the two of us to hide our identities. The locals will be accustomed to seeing us, and no one will pay too much attention to us." Then Charlie said, "When it gets dark, let's find a way to go into the port and take a look." Duncan asked him, "Port management is generally strict. Is it easy for us to get in?" Charlie smiled and said, "Don't worry, I have a way." After that, he said to Duncan, "Inspector Lee, let's go to the room first. I have booked the highest floor here, and I should be able to see the general situation of the port."